Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, yet another webinar, and I hope you are excited for it. So what we're going to do is people typically come on stumbling in, takes a couple of minutes for us to get going. So what I want to do is I want to start off with, and I would love to hear, like, where in the world are you sitting and joining us from? Like, we've had these webinars now almost bi-weekly since January, February, and we've seen like people come all from all over the world. So we see Rockwell in the USA. You have the Netherlands from Vera, Perth, and Detroit, Denmark. It seems like we have people coming from quite a lot of different places. India, um, New York, UK, amazing. So one thing I want to do and make as a bit of a promise today is by the end of this webinar, you are going to learn the system behind the 207,000 comments and the 65,000 leads that we've generated from LinkedIn simply by posting. And that is one of the reasons why the title of this webinar is How to Go Viral on LinkedIn, because we've done it more than 400, 500 times. And virality in our world for those posts are a couple of hundred comments plus, but that's not necessarily the thing that we want to chase for. We want to have a repeatable system because that's the way that we were able to do it so many times. I'm actually going to show you this as well. So through the last couple of years, we posted close to 1,800 times. I think it's actually more than that. I think this stats on the screen it's getting outdated every single week. But we have posted a lot of times. So we've learned and been able to test what's working. And we built a system that we've not only used ourselves, but we've used this to help companies generate consistent lead flow from LinkedIn. Because the reality is most people trying to post on LinkedIn are not going anywhere. So we have Matthew, we have Mike, Frederick, Moritz, Andrew, Benny, Anthony, King, Moritz, Michael, Christopher, Frank, and many, many more that has used this exact thing that we're going to go through today to get leads and get a consistent flow of leads. And this has been the strategy that I've used on my personal profile to grow beyond 50 or 61,000 followers on LinkedIn. And that is hopefully worth something. And what I'm going to do, and what I promise to do today is I'm not going to hold anything back. At the very end of this session, we're going to have a Q&A section. So if you have questions throughout, if you want to pick my brain, if you want feedback on something, if you want suggestions, you have a Q&A button at the bottom of Zoom. It says Q&A. You can click that and you can drop in your questions. And we're going to go through those at the end. And I'm going to sit for hopefully as long as you guys need. Depending on if we went as we did this last time, we sat for 2 hours and I had to have like pull the brakes and say, I have to run. But my goal is to sit here through answering all the questions you guys have. So more people will probably stumble in as we go through. We're going to let them stumble in and we're going to get to it. So one of the things is recently I posted this post and I was like, okay, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. But then it really, really took off and it has 1,500 comments at this point and it got 70,000 impressions. This was just a post I took and then just posted it. Now, if you do what we're going to go through today, I'm never going to promise this type of results. But even if you could just get a piece of it, like imagine you could wake up like on Monday because you take what we go through today and you do it tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and you wake up on Monday and since before the weekend or the day before you got 50 leads or 50 comments, 50 people that are interested in the thing that you have. How would that feel? Because the thing is, it only takes one post. It takes one post to completely change your lead generation, how many leads you have, and for you to also believe that what we're going to go through now today, it's not just theory, but it actually works and it works for you. So one post is all you need. So my goal for this webinar is ultimately two things, but there is a third one as well. And I'm going to reveal that on the next slide. And that is first, I'm going to reveal the strategy behind all of this. Like what's been the strategy that we've used to get the 200,000 plus comments, the 65,000 leads and grow my profile from not really being anything to 60,000 comment or followers or more. That's the first thing. The second thing is I'm going to show you how we run this and how we do this day by day or day to day. So everything that we do daily to run this entire strategy. So that's my goal for the webinar. And the other thing that I also wanted to point out is I have an offer at you guys at the end. And that offer is actually giving you a free account to the system that I'm going to show you all so you can get started doing this for free. So, but before we do go into anything, I want to set a bit of housekeeping rules because I want this to be an interactive webinar where if I ask a question, I want you to engage because that way it doesn't become a webinar that you and suddenly start falling asleep in. I want this to be rapid fire, quickly going back and forth, and for us to be engaged. So I want to start with a true or false game. And now it's going to be the question to see whether you guys are engaged or not, because that's what's going to make you get way more from this. So the first question is, I have a question. I want you to comment true or false to the statement. And the first statement that I want you to, in the chat, comment true or false on is having 60,000 followers guarantees that I get more impressions, more likes, and more comments on the posts that I post on LinkedIn. Okay, so you guys are following along. So all of you guys are posting and answering in the chat. So false, 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 false. There's a couple of true. So there's a true from Carl, from Matthias, Rafal, and Rosa. So the thing here is you don't need a lot of followers. So the reason why I go through these things in the beginning is because I want you all to be aligned looking at this in the same way. And I say this, like, I have 60,000 followers. You saw the post that I shared a bit earlier. Got 70,000 impressions, 1,500 comments. Amazing post and performance. But then what you didn't see is a post that I posted the week after that barely got 30, 40 impressions. So having a lot of followers is not a guarantee that the posts you post are going to reach a big audience. And also, if you were to scroll through your LinkedIn feed, I would guarantee you that a lot of the posts you see are not by people you follow and are not by your connections. They're by your second and third degree connections on LinkedIn, meaning people you don't have in a network and they don't follow. The majority will be in that bulk. So the thing here is false. The next thing is going viral on LinkedIn. I need to post about something trendy or something quote unquote sexy. So comment true or false in the chat on this. So I see false. There's a lot of false here. Let's see, give people a couple or more seconds to answer. Again, comment true or false. Like I want this to be rapid fire. So let's see false. Let's see if there's anyone that says true. No one says true. And I'm happy that all of you guys said no or false. Because you don't need to have something super trendy. No one cares about a trendy thing. Everyone cares about what's in it for them. So if you post something that is all about you, the only way that that goes anywhere is because if you're super personal. The thing that people care about is what's in it for them. What can I gain? What is in this for me? Why should I even bother? If you can't answer those, your post isn't going to go anywhere. And this ties very neatly into what we're going to go through in this webinar. The final or the third thing is running AI or automation on LinkedIn will get you banned. True or false? I see maybe, false, 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 no, false, false if leveraged properly. That's completely spot on. True. So there's a bit of a mixer. The thing is, it's neither yes or no. It depends on how you do it. But I would say it's no or false if you do it properly. I started doing automation on LinkedIn back in 2016. So that's 10 years ago. I've never experienced my accounts getting banned, disabled, blocked, anything. And the reason is because I respect volume and I do not try to spam. So the thing is, you have safe limits on LinkedIn, meaning how many activities you can run on a daily basis. So you have safe limits, you have where you're logging in from, and you have activity, let's say, trend. So if you haven't done anything on LinkedIn and you suddenly start posting a ton, commenting, sending a lot of connection request messages, that's going to be a spike in your activity, and that's going to be a red flag. So there are several things that will make you get blocked and banned. But if you stay and you respect LinkedIn, it doesn't matter whether you run AI or run automation, you just need to do it properly. So I would say it's false. Now, a very, very quick introduction to myself. My name is Harold Reiner. I'm the founder and CEO of BURO Ventures. We are a company that operates a bit as a R&D. Like, we've been in this for a long time. Like, I turned founder at 16. One, partially because I wanted to invest in Bitcoin. This was back in 2011. My dad said no at the time, so I had to find something else. Like, that would have been probably like $12 million at this point. So, hey, I need to go into business. And since then, I worked in the entire space of digital growth for 15 years. And that is anything and everything. This is paid advertising, it's organic, it's social media, it's emails, it's everything you can think of related to marketing digitally. And at this point, over the past 15 years, I've helped hundreds of companies intimately, working with them on building their marketing, their digital sales, the go-to-market, their technical automations, all of these things for one purpose, which is how can we grow our company? And internally, I'm a bit of a mad scientist. And that has turned it so that BURO is actually, we're building it to be an autonomous venture studio, meaning we are creating concepts and projects and an engine that can take any business concept, take it to market, grow it, and run a portfolio of companies autonomously. And what we're going to go through today is one of the products and one of the systems that we've built as part of this long-term vision of having a portfolio of companies all operated and ran by and with AI. So that is something that I actually haven't said out loud publicly like this that many times. It's been more in actual close room dealings. But let's dive into it. So the first part I want to go into is the strategy behind generating leads from LinkedIn. And we found what we like to call the number one way to leverage LinkedIn as a channel for growth. And that is what we call the lead magnet posts. And the lead magnet posts are ultimately a post that talk about and share a specific resource or guide in exchange for someone commenting on the post to receive it. So it's ultimately talking about, we have this thing, it goes through X, Y, and Z, it helps you with 1, 2, 3, comment B2B, or comment something else, and I'm going to send it to you on DM. Remember what we talked about, like, people care what's in it for me. So if they see something and it's a tangible thing that they can get, people engage with it and they care about it because I can get something from it. If it's not doing that, it's like, why should I even bother? So these types of posts are meant to engineer this ultimately to, with a bad word, use the selfish nature of everyone. We care about ourselves. And there's nothing wrong in that. But we want to use that in engineering what we can on LinkedIn so that we can help more people, because by helping people, they ultimately end up helping us back. And one post like this, as you can see, is one of the two posts here got 537,000 impressions, and the other one 360,000. So one post is ultimately all you need. Like, if you can have one post really hit it off, you're going to completely change your marketing. Now, most people try to post on LinkedIn, never end up cracking the code. And they end up basically like Peter McGuire, like a bit of a sad face. And that results in this cycle. They typically post, they pray and hope that this is going to work. They see radio silence and nothing happens, and then they stop. The thing is, every post that doesn't go anywhere, you're one post closer to hitting that one post that you need to really get the flywheel to start going. Now, the thing is that I'm curious, how many of you guys here are actively posting on LinkedIn? Comment yes. And who of you are not posting on LinkedIn? Comment no. Because again, I want to see that you guys are on. Like, I'm just not asking this only to figure out where you guys are at, but I also want to check if you're actually not half asleep. So there's a lot of you guys posting, but there's also several of you guys not posting. And a little, not too much AI stock posts several times per month, and so on. So either of the cases, we're going to go into how you can do it. Because the most usual thing for why something flops, it's because it's bad. Like, it's not tangible, it's not useful, it's not interesting, it's not actually providing value. And saying as Gordon Ramsay, I'm not saying it's shit, but it's probably shit. Because everyone thinks about themselves. And this is a cardinal sin in marketing. Like, I care about what I care about. So I want to talk about that. But everyone else cares about what's in it for them as well. So it kind of becomes like a world of people never caring about each other, only themselves. And that spills into marketing because it's a bit of our human nature. So what we need to do is that we need to do different types of posts because people are always looking for information. The question is, where do they get it? Do they get it from your competitors because they are sharing things that are addressed like, here's the benefit for you, but you're only sharing things that you feel comfortable sharing and you can't really share a secret? Or do you actually share something that is valuable? Because again, everything is about what's in it for them, not what's in it for you. So the big takeaway that I want you to have so far is lead magnet posts are engineered to generate leads because it plays to the selfish parts of the human psyche that always ask the question, what's in it for me? Now, the second part I want to dive into, and I want to keep this rapid fire, but like very quick question. Does this make sense? And are you guys following along? Comment just yes in the chat for me to just check. Okay, we are on point. Like we can keep on moving. So yes, 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 yes. Someone commented that my voice is echoing. Are more of you guys hearing that? So just comment echo if you can see that or hear that. No, no. Okay, okay, good. Then we will continue. So part two that I want to go into is how do you create these lead attracting assets that you can post on LinkedIn to get leads? And there's two things that I want to go into. I want to go into how to create these resources or these lead magnets so that the valuable thing you post and how to write a post for them. So let's start with how to create the resources. There are some prerequisites. You should ultimately have two things. You should have a definition of your target ICP, so your ideal customer profile that talks about who they are. And you should have your content architecture, which are think about it as the topics you are to talk about. For BURO, simply we help people with lead generation, lead nurturing, and lead conversion. So those are the three topics. Once you have that, there are a few ways to create a resource. And then there's ultimately two that I want to go into. The first one is have AI interview you. And the second one is reverse engineer what you like. So on the right side, we have a resource. It's called the sales assistant. And it goes through prompts to help someone during a sales process. That's a very simple one. And that's, for example, an example for number two. You can feed that in and you can have AI reverse engineer it for you. But the first one is have AI interview. Say that you're creating something, that you're creating a guide on how to, and you need to extract your information from your mind and help it and have it do it for you. Reverse engineering it is take a resource that you found. It could be something that we have, it could be something that you've seen, a guide, a white paper, feed that into AI and say, I want to replicate this, but based on what I know in my industry and my audience. And that's it. Like, it doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be complicated. People think that you need to have something revolutionizing, but this is ultimately it. The next one, and also the reason why I'm going through this quickly is because I'm actually going to do something in a bit. And that is for drafting posts, there are ultimately three things that you want to have. You want to have a compelling hook. So that's the first line. You want to have an informative body, which talks through what the hell is this thing. And you want to have a clear call to action, which is the comment X to get it. Now, the hook is the first line. It should catch attention. It should be intriguing. You can use numbers, you can use claims, you can have a controversial element. For example, I mean that AI agents and MCP servers are amazing, but it's a lazy man's work of getting automation and using AI. And that's very controversial to a lot of people, but there's an argument behind it, but I'm not going to go into that now. You need a compelling hook. And a couple of examples, just slap them on the screen. And it's going to be, there's several ways to do this, but I'm not going to really go into this because one thing I want to do is I want to show you how I do all of these things. Because doing posts like this has helped us grow our email lists, our clients' email lists, and grow to past 3 million impressions on a single profile. That's the way that I've grown past 60,000 followers on LinkedIn. doing posts like this, sharing value. Now, the takeaway is creating the resources and the post doesn't need to be hard. The thing is, if you know what you want to have and you have samples of that, AI is amazing at helping you and reverse engineering the process to how to get there. Now, are we tracking? Like, comment yes if we're tracking, following along, this makes sense, and we're ready to continue moving forward. Yes, 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 yes. I'm asking you guys to comment a lot in the chat, so it's nice of you to uphold the agreement we made in the beginning, or one-way agreement, of actually being engaged and commenting in the chat. So I appreciate that. So a very quick question before we go on. There was a question, should these posts come from a brand account or an individual account? So I don't know your name yet, but if you see a company post something, or you see a person posting something, which one would you engage with? And I think that is probably going to answer your question. If you only could engage with one of them, I see a couple of people commenting in the chat, like the person or the individual, because that's the thing. Like, we are rigged and hardwired for human connection. If we engage with a company, it feels a bit sterile. It feels a bit distant. But if it's a person, we feel a bit of a level of intimacy, and that's what we need. So then let's get into part number 3. And we're going quickly here, and I love that you guys are engaged. That makes it a lot easier for me to actually just get through this so that we can have a longer Q&A session at the end instead of me boring you for like 45 to 90 minutes just going through this. So part 3, how do we in BURO run all of this day to day? That's what I want to go into. So is it all right for you guys that I show you guys a full demo walkthrough of how we run this in BURO? And I want you to comment yes in the chat. So this means that I'm going to go into the system that we use. I'm going to go through what we set up, all the settings we have, and how we run through the daily motion of doing these things. Oh, I looked at the chat, and the chat, I need to scroll. So Steven says yes, Matthias says yes, Torsten says yes, Tony yes, Heike yes, William yes, Christian yes, Kevin yes. So all of you guys are cool with it. That's good. Then let's go into that. So as you've seen, we posted a lot. And what I'm about to show you is the system that we ended up creating to allow us to do this without losing our minds. Because ultimately, imagine if you were to post 1,700 times in the next 12 months. You're probably going crazy, right? Or is it like, how many times is that a day? Like 5, 6, 7, something? I'm not going to do the math here now. But what we basically built is something that we ended up calling Autoposter. So let's do the demo of the day to day. So let's see if I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see my screen now with my dashboard? Just comment yes in the chat if you guys can see. Alrighty. So this is one of the accounts that we have for running this. So this doesn't encapsulate the entire operation that we have. It's one of them. So ultimately, we wanted to think of, okay, how can we make this as easy as possible for us? And there's ultimately, I would say, 3 steps. So the very first step is you have your LinkedIn LinkedIn profiles, right? So the very first thing that we've done is that we've been able to add our profiles to the system so that we can actually go through. And one of the things is, if we take a bit step back, when you go through the posting structure or the post structure that we just talked about, that's embedded into this, like with both entire workflow. So what I typically do is that I add my profile, I connect my LinkedIn profile, log in, and I get my accounts connected to it. So whenever we have someone else in the team that wants to join, we do that. Once we have a partner that wants to join, we do that. Once we are, let's say, expanding the team, like, we just add people in. Like, that's the way that we can expand, and we can post for more people internally in the company. And also, if we have the company page, like you got the question on that, like you can add a company page as well. Like we have that, and you can see BURO is down here on the left side. Now, in here, once we have that, there's a couple of things that I want to go through of settings first, because, and again, I'm going to go through all of this, and now I bet that you guys might have questions, because if you have questions to anything like this, ask me. And I'm not gonna hold anything back. This is what we do. Like this is the internal system that we have and how we run it day to day. So for me, for example, I want to be able to approve the posts that are going to go out from LinkedIn. So I have the human in the loop. I also want to do a bit of a split going forward. This is something that we just worked on today, actually, to show you how raw and filtered and just sharing how everything is with you guys. So we were doing lead magnet posts, but I want to add in more. I want to do more like thought leadership posts because we have so many resources and guides created, and we haven't really taken any extract from them and shared them. So we have our lead resources and thought leadership. And then what I'm doing as well is I can post every day of the week. So I want to post from Mondays to Saturdays and Sundays. I can post one time a day. And I'm going to post between noon and 7 p.m. That's my posting schedule. Because what I've seen is a bit of the market that I hit with my LinkedIn profile is in Europe, but also the East Coast in the States. So as we saw in the very beginning, there's a couple of you guys joining from the US. So that tells a bit of it. So I want to kind of like hit both of them. Now, the other thing I've done is that I've enabled this to automate things on my profile. So when you've seen that, like when you post a post on LinkedIn and people comment, like you need to have a way to handle that. Like you need to have a way to engage with everyone that comments. So when someone comments, you like that. Because if I got 1,500 comments and I need to go through and answer everyone, I would hate my life because it would be like I would need to work full time just on that for weeks on end to handle 1,500. Imagine going to a post, scrolling through, keeping track, 1,500 people in comments. There's no way. So this system basically auto reacts on everyone that comments. It replies to their comments saying, for example, Lindsay is with me now. Hey, Lindsay, I saw that you commented. I'm going to send you a link in on the DM. Sorry, I sent you a link on DM. And then it's going to auto DM the person, sending the resource to them. And this makes more sense when I go into the resources page. Now, for me, since I've run this for so long, I can't accept more connection requests on LinkedIn because I've hit the limit of 30,000. So I need to turn auto accept off because I can't accept. Now, these are the settings. So this is running from during the morning to 6 p.m. And I'm based in Oslo, Norway. So that's when I want to have the schedule working. Now, remember how I asked in the very, very beginning, getting banned on LinkedIn is a risk. But it's only a risk if you misuse LinkedIn. So what we've learned over time, and this is me just spilling it and sharing it as it is you have limits to how many invitations you can send a day or a month, and you can derive it from the month, how many direct messages you can send a day, how many inbound, so basically connection requests you get that you can accept safely a day, how many comment replies, so how many replies to comments you can send a day, and how many times you can like a comment a day. So what I've done, what we did here is that we set the limits. So people say you can send 800 connection requests a month. I say 600. Don't do more than 600. So what I've done is I've set mine to 400. So I'm below the limit. How many DMs a day? Can send 150 people say, but we've capped it at 120, and I'm sending 40, and I probably can bump this to 60, but I'm never going to do more than that. So actually, I'm going to keep it at 40. Accepts a day, personally, I can't really do any, so I'm just going to bump it down to 5, but you can accept 100 a day without an issue. We've done that. We've seen that been a thing. I've actually gone crazy and tested, and I accepted 300 in a single day, and it went fine, but I don't want to stretch it. Comment replies a day, I kept it to 150 as max, and the same with comment likes. So these are the things that you need to respect. Like you need to be able to have a way, if you were to run automation, to limit and not do too much. One thing that we've done next then is ultimately writing voice. So this is something that is embedded in the things that I do. So I have it, but when you're and all of this uses AI to then draft the post for me. And one important aspect then is how do I like to write? I like to write short sentences, a lot of line breaks, and don't really use emojis. I don't use M dashes. I've never used them. It's a very typical AI thing, but it's grammatically the right thing. So there's all of these nuances in terms of how I write. So what I can do is that I can basically give it well, a lot of examples. So how do I write? I can give it source upon source upon source, and it's deriving from my writing style. So this is all the posts, profiles. Just add your profile in. That's how we do it, and then we run it from there. The next one is resources. So from the period of November 2024 to today, together with my colleagues, we've created 178, 180 different guides, tutorials, webinars, ebooks, prompt guides, or resources. And we've taken just a couple of them, or quite a bit of them, as you can see here, and we've added them to this system. And what that is, it then allows us to then have the root material to then draft our posts. So these are the lead magnets. So for example, if you have a lead magnet and you have it on the website, I'm just going to the website, I'm pasting that in. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to find a resource that I don't think we have in here, and I'm going to add it and show you guys how easy that is. So actually, I think a very funny way of doing that is we have a webinar today. We have the sign-up page for today's webinar. So what I can then do is I can take that page, I can add a resource, add from a website, I can paste in the link to the sign-up page for this webinar, and then it's going to take the content of that and it's going to create the resource in there for me. So for example, let me just remove that it's update the links. So that's the sign-up page, and that's the actual access page. So I can then through that add that resource, and boom, now we have that resource added in here. So that's how simple it could be, just adding the resources and the lead magnets and the guides and tutorials you have. Just take the URL of the page, it's going to get everything from it, or you can upload the PDF. Now, from here, there's a couple of things. Posts is typically the most simple one. So I mentioned that there are 3 steps. Add your profile that we've used. We have added our resources, and we're now going to look at the posts. And this is the system that then allows us on a daily basis to come in here and have a queue of posts to review. So in here, we have a bunch of posts that has been drafted and going back that myself and the team basically go through. So every morning, for example, here I have one. We have a sales assistant. So the one that I showed on this basically one of the slides, we have that resource in here. So this was generated today actually, and approximately 5 hours ago. And in here, I will then go through and read, okay, what do I think about the hook? What is the content? And then see what do I want to change in there. And I can basically just change things as I go through. So I want to just do that. I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to remove the final one because then the final gets more precise. And that's the post. So this happens automatically. And then you have the visual. So if I like the visual, I just download it. If I don't like it, I can hit regenerate. And it's going to draft me a new visual for this post. And I can go in here, I can edit, I can reject it, I can generate more, I can generate another image. And while that goes through, we wanted to look at, okay, how, when we get a comment, we automate. So that was one of the settings that I went through previously in setting how many things I can do a day from my profile. So down here, you have the comment to DM automation. And this is ultimately where we can set, how do we send this to people? So whenever someone comments on these lead magnet posts, this is a DM that is sent to the people that comment. It's hi name, and name is obviously replaced. So your post on the B2B sales prep. I got the free resource on its sales assistant. I set the prompts that turns Sonnet 5 into sales prep engine for scripts, lead research, and proposal. Here it is. And since we then added the resource to the platform, that allows us to just automatically, when it's drafted, it fetches that link and it adds it in automatically. Now, for those that actually comment, these are the replies that it's going to reply. And it auto drafts these. I don't need to do anything. It's like, okay, yeah, this looks good. And if I'm not connected with the person, this is the comment that is going to be sent to them. This is a bit different for me because I don't have the ability to accept connection requests. So what I do is that I typically just add the landing page for it. And that's how I do it. I would generate a new image. Yeah, I think this is good. So what I would then do is that I would hit save, and then I would hit approve. And then it will go to the next one. So that's ultimately the workflow that we do internally, just going through these posts, reviewing them, editing them, just making sure that, okay, everything looks good, and that's it. Now, the step that then happens is that this system then allows us to automatically schedule that on LinkedIn. You saw the scheduling window and how many posts a day that I wanted to post. It just takes that and it pushes that into my calendar. So if I were to view the calendar, this is then going to schedule things ahead of time on my profile. And I can see everything in here in terms of how the current accounts and the setup in here is working. And the thing that makes this really interesting is that when someone comments on a post, so let's see if I can find a post to share and show this as an example of. So let's take this one as an example. So this is a post that was posted. It was something that didn't really go anywhere, but which is, again, you need only one post. And in here, it then fetches everyone that comments. And I can see everything, and it saves all the leads into a system. Now, this is the thing that allows us to really scale this and do this properly, because when we then post, all the leads and everyone that interacts are saved in one place so that we can see everyone, we can see everything. And in here, we can see absolutely everyone. So let me see if I can bring someone up that I can bring up. Let's see if I can search for. Let's do Danny. So for example, with Danny, what then happens is that I can then see everything that he's done. So I can see all the activity, I can see what they've done, how much they've done, all of these things. And in here, then I can have the link to the LinkedIn profile. I can send it out. And this is where it becomes interesting as well. Because if I want to track and if I want to continue the conversation, which we typically do, we have our messages. So I can do, and I can filter on my profile. I can do match leads only. I can do unread only, and I can apply the filter. And I can see, okay, who do I need to reply to? So here's the several people actually answering and commenting, yes, thank you for receiving the resource. So there's a lot of ways that we use this system to then basically run not just the posting, getting the posts and getting the leads, but also following up everyone. And the thing here as well is I'm always curious, what do I need to do or what is going viral? Like what is trending? Because I don't want to always post about the trending things, but I want to see, okay, what are the market responding to? So we have a Discover tab where we basically are gathering viral posts on LinkedIn to basically have the data to build something that grows. So before I go into this, I would like to just ask you guys a question. Are you guys tracking? Are you following along? Does this all make sense so far? Or am I just sitting here just yapping? Okay, yes, this is great. Looks good. Yes. Okay. So it's not me just completely having lost you guys throughout. Okay, that's good. Thumbs up from Carl, Kevin, all good. Heike, yes. Mohammed, yes. Tony, yes. Okay, good. So whenever I want to see what is working, find some inspiration, I think that's the way to put it, is I always go to Discover. So in here, we have about 3,000 posts. It adds more posts every single day. And I can see the trends. So I can see, okay, what are the momentum of different topics on LinkedIn right now? So these are the last week. So I can see there are certain topics today that are performing better than yesterday. And going back, for example, to the 9th of August, AI agents and things about a career went viral. Like you had posts that really hit it off that day. So that's interesting. So I could click that and I will then be able to get a filtered view of those types of posts. Now, before I go more into the posts, I want to go a bit further down. So that's one. The other one is I can find creators. So basically profiles. Because one thing that is interesting is how is a profile performing relative to their follower count? Because remember I asked in the beginning, do you need 60,000 followers to go anywhere? And the answer to that is no. And I have it in the data. That's why I said it in the first place. So I can take all creators that we have on the platform, and I can see, and basically here, that we have a bunch of profiles. So obviously, for example, you have Nicholas Boucher, has 1.3 million followers on LinkedIn. He's always going viral. He's always going places, but he has 1.3 million followers. It's a bit different. But then you have someone, what we then have done is that we've created a scoring mechanism of how many comments per follower do you get. And that is a really interesting metric to then basically group an entire market. So if you see here, so this gray line, it might be a bit hard for you guys to see, but in the middle, there's a gray line. And that is the line for having about 40,000 followers on LinkedIn. And basically, the higher up you are, the more engagement you get per follower. The lower you are, the less engagement you get per follower. And the thing is, you have a bunch of people that don't go anywhere, even with 40,000 followers. Like you have this one, which is 0.7 comments per 1,000 followers. It's almost nothing. But then, if you have all the way here, you have Marceline. She's stood out like for weeks upon end. At this point, she only had 7,400 followers, but she got 800 comments per 1,000 followers. So this is a really nice way for me to, okay, let's do some research and find people that are really heavyweights for not being necessarily that big. So I, through this, can see, okay, let's look at Lucas. And I can see his post. Like he posted 2 days ago, 408 comments. Like that's interesting. Let's take this. And now, ladies and gentlemen, is the part that is super interesting, which is let me take that post and say, okay, I like this post. It's a, okay, this doesn't look like it's AI. Everything is lower, nothing is capitalized, and it has even his name as the final one, kind of like signing off Lucas. So what I can then do is I can take this and I can reverse engineer it. So I can go to templates, because one thing is that if you're posting on LinkedIn and you're just using AI to post on LinkedIn, you're missing out. Like you're missing out big time, because you are just randomly, headlessly almost, posting. So what I want to introduce you to is a system that we baked in to continuously learn. Because if I post something, I need to have a thesis. What is the idea of a post? Like how should a post be structured? How should the visual be made? And based on that, I can then test it, meaning I write posts, I create images, and I post, let's say 10 posts. And then I get data for how is that particular type of post performing. And then I can make a second iteration to that. I can iterate upon my theses. So now we have this post. Let's actually, I want to make a thesis that I want to create a lead magnet post that is similar to Lucas's and use that as a template that I can reuse for my own posts. I can do that for the post template, so basically the text. I can also go to image and create an image template based on that as well. And it's going to take that image that you saw here. This is going to identify how we can generate that using AI. So that we use the same type of idea and thesis for the image and the post text. And we can run that and run the optimization and testing in a scientific way, instead of just asking AI, write me something, create a post for me, and doing it in a way that is just random. It's sporadic every single time. Because then what ends up happening is that you get something that you actually learn from. So you have a lot of tools that we've used going back to do the posting, to get this going, all of these things, but no one had that. So, and having posted 1,800 times, like we learned plenty, but we didn't really put that into data to feed the AI so that we can get better over time. So that's why what we ended up building for ourselves is the templates. And one thing here is you can see the tag lead magnets, but you also have thought leadership. And this is something that we actually created this for ourselves this week and today. And that is, once we have a lot of resources, there's a lot of expertise in those lead magnets and resources. So let's create posts about them. So what we then had here is that we created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different theses of how a thought leadership post should be written. And it's a myth or misconception addressing that. It's a principle or framework, contrarian point of view for opening a debate, like practical implementation of something, a diagnostic question, and a hidden trade-off, like different ways and templates for how the post should be written. And then what we then get is that we get the performance. So in the last 90 days, we published this many posts about with this thesis. We got this many leads, this many comments, this many reactions, impressions, and the score on it. So that you learn on top of what you're actually doing. So going back, the thing that made us actually be able to perform at the level that we have, getting, I think at this point, more than 15 million impressions, it's 207,000 comments and more, is by having this type of scientific approach to it. Instead of just having AI, like just write post and post it. You get a lot of data, and for you to really maximize your chances on not being kind of like the sad face meme of Peter McGuire in the slide earlier, is you need to run it scientifically. So I think that's the thing that I wanted to go through in how we do it. So we've added our profiles, we added here, we do the settings, how we see it, we add our resources. You saw how easy it is, like add from a website, paste it in, it scrapes it, and the templates. Like we can take the thing that we just drafted, like this is the thing that it created based on Lucas's post, and we can draft the post based on it. I can go to post, I can hit create, I can generate with AI, it's a lead magnet, and I select the post template and the image template and hit generate. And now with this, it's going to generate for all the 8 profiles that we have. For example, if I go to LinkedIn, let's do a quick one. And let's do the sales assistant, generate. It's going to generate in the background and it's going to come up here when it's ready. So that's the process. Like we do this every single day. And this is how we run it. So that was the demo of the day today. I spent some more time on it. Again, just to highlight, we're going to have a Q&A. Like I can go back into the tool, show you guys more when we get to the Q&A, but that's what I wanted to show. Comment in the chat. I'm just curious, how was that? Like, what do you guys think about it? Like, does it look like it's an easy process for us to run all of that? All of those things. I'm just curious. Like, great. Brent, how do I sign up, please? We're gonna get to that. So William, awesome. Like William, we have a chat tomorrow, I think it is, so that we can go into really using this. Brian, amazing, nice, impressive. No more guessing. Awesome, great. So the takeaway that I want you guys to take from this is having a system running all of this, making it simpler for you, is what makes it doable. Because what I meant and what I said earlier as well is it only takes one post. If you have one single post that goes anywhere, it's the thing that gets the whole motion going. Because we've seen, like I worked with someone called Felix last year, and he had 143 followers on LinkedIn. Guess how many leads he got from just posting 2 times? Like 2 posts, and only like 2 posts, 2 individual posts drove 4,000 leads for him. And the thing is, he needed a system. So it doesn't take a lot. It's like 1 post is all that he needs. So we've covered a lot so far. Like it might be that you're a bit like Pingy, like, oh, this is a lot to kind of like understand and get to and like get your head around. But from the sound of it, like I don't think you guys are struggling that much. Like you've commented yes throughout, all makes sense. We're moving forward, all of these things. And the thing that I want to put as an emphasis to is lead magnets are a huge opportunity to have a sustainable and predictable way of getting leads, but you just need to do it right. Lead magnets don't need to just be posted on LinkedIn. You can post them elsewhere. You can use them as ads. You can use them in your outbound. They're multidisciplinary. Like you can use them for a lot of different tactics, but lead magnets are amazing. And the second thing is you learn the process, and I've showed you, okay, what we do day to day to run all of this, because it doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be complicated. You just need to have a system that makes it doable so that you can get to that 1 post that really makes all the difference. So for this webinar, we wanted to do something special. And that is, we could go on and make this like 20-minute longer theory, all these things. But we wanted to give everyone a free account. And an account that you can run for 7 days, 100% for free. You don't pay a dime to test this. Because you've seen how the tool looks. You've seen the process of adding your account. We've gone through the settings. We've gone through the process of adding a resource. And we've gone through the process of actually generating a resource or a post as well. We've gone through the process of finding a post that you create a template based on and generating based on that. So we wanted to give you the opportunity to get an account that is 7 days. It's for free. You don't pay anything for it to actually run this and to get things going ultimately. And that's an account for Autoposter, the tool that I just demoed and showed you guys. So are you guys ready for me to actually bump the link in the chat so that you can go ahead, get an account set up, get ready, go in and add in your stuff, and start posting. So come if you are, and the reason why I want to ask is because, again, we had the agreement that we were going to have a back and forth. Because if none of you actually answered yes, I would actually just skip this. And I'm not kidding, because the thing is that if none of you were to be engaged at this point, like, none of you would have done anything with it. My goal is to actually hold a bit of a standard for you guys, for you, that, okay, I'm actually wanting to do this. So, but there's a lot of people, you guys, that say here in terms of, sure, yes, let's go. And then we're going to get to it. So in the chat now, you will get a link. So Lindsay, can we make sure that there is a link sent to everyone in the chat now?
Yep.
So there should come a link in the chat any second now.
Oh.
Now we're keeping
So
them hanging. Let's see.
my copy and paste skills need some work, but there we go, guys.
There you go. Now you have it's autoposter at BuroVentures.com webinar trial. What's going to happen is that you're going to get to this link or this page. So who here can see this page? I just want to make sure here as well. Yes, yes, Tony, yes, Matthias, yes. So you guys can see it. So this is the first page you get to. You basically click the start my 7-day free trial. You will then get to create a workspace. So you add in your name, you add in your email, you add in your password. Don't add your password 2 times because the last one is workspace name, not re-enter your password. That's important because I think everyone is used to adding your password 2 times. Then you're going to get to the checkout page. I just want to put emphasis, nothing is billed today. This is more like the first 7 days are free. After that, it's $39 a month. You have other tools doing parts of what the entire internal tool is doing, and that costs $39 a month. And you have no post drafting. You have post drafting that just costs $39 a month, but you don't have the scheduling nor the automation. But it's 7 days for free. Like, you don't need to pay. You can cancel after that. Like, that's up to you. After the payment is registered, actually, this I need to change it. After you've registered, started your trial, you will get to the onboarding where you add in your basics. You add in your role, your company, website, LinkedIn profile, these things, and that allows our systems to get ready. Oh, invitation unavailable.
Yeah. Let me try this one with the webinar trial. The previous one
Let's
was
see.
exclusive trial, and this one is specifically the webinar trial link. So I put a new link in the chat for everyone that's having issues. Some people had success with the previous link. Try this one down below. Okay,
This
Kevin
one
says
works?
that the new one is best. So I am just
Yeah.
individually replying to everyone said that they're having issues too, just so that they make
Oh,
sure
yeah.
they get it.
Yeah. So the one that was last commented by Lindsay, that's the one that you guys need to use. It's basically ends with webinar trial, not
Yep.
exclusive trial. So I just want, before I keep on, uh, are more people say, or does this link work for someone? If you guys can see it and you get to the, I'm just gonna go back. If you get to this page, is the start my 7-day free trial working? Let's see. Yes,
Okay.
okay, good. So then we can continue. So after you've added and gone through and you've added you just added the details and you've gone through your basics. Then you get to your audience, where you basically describes your audience, your goal, the rhythm of how much you want to post, kind of like just some basics to get your account set up. And then you can add your voice and proof. And this is ultimately where you add in what's the voice, how do you want to communicate, what's the brand guidelines in terms of communication, and also what do you offer and what social proof do you have, like what case studies, testimonials do you have. Again, you can add all of these things later. You don't need to do them in onboarding. You can just write quickly. And once you're done with that, you will get to the dashboard. And that's when you're ready to do what I just showed you guys earlier. So I see there's a lot of questions throughout in terms of coming in. If you guys can just drop it in the Q&A, they're not going to drown in the chat, because the chat is, you guys are sending a lot. So if you can just drop those questions in the Q&A, that is going to be a lot of help so that we can actually go through and be effective. But let me see. Uri, you asked the question, what are the limitations of this autoposter? I'm not sure what you mean by the limitations of it. Could you
I
elaborate
think
a
they
bit on
mean
that?
volume. We can,
Ah,
if they don't clarify, I think they're talking about volume. Yeah.
yeah. So with the 7-day free trial, you can add one profile. So that's ultimately your profile, someone else's profile, it doesn't matter. You can have as many members and team members on the account as you want. And I can show this in the app as well in a bit. But ultimately, you can post as much as you want. Like if you want to draft post, go crazy. I think you can do like 200 posts drafted a month on your profile with one license. And also, as mentioned, like it's $39 a month, 31 or $39 a month, and that's it. So you can do a lot with it. If you want to add more profiles to post from, so if, for example, if you want to add yours, a colleague, a third one, and so on, you need to have more licenses for it. But ultimately, like $39 a month is, if you just get 5 leads a month from it, is it going to be worth it? 5 sales opportunities? I think only you are the one that can answer that. Let's say Faisal, will using such a tool negatively impact our LinkedIn profiles or increase the risk of account suspension? The answer to that is no. Like, it's built to comply with the safety things that we've used and done for a decade. Never had any issues. And we went through this. Like, you need to have limits to how often you do things, how many of those things you do, and how quickly you do them in succession. So we've built in the thing that we've done and used and run for the past 10 years, never had an issue with suspension or bans into this. So obviously, if you are to stretch it and if you are to do a lot of things aside from Autoposter, we don't control that. Like if you spam 100 invitations a day through another tool, like we can't take the account and be accountable for that risk. But if you just use this and you stay within the limits, again, yes, it should be in 99.99% of the cases not going to put your profile at risk. But again, what you do outside it, we can't control that. Let's see, Brian, does it not work in my Gmail page that has an account on Bureau Venture? I'm not sure what you mean, Brian. So this is a separate platform compared to our website, so bureauventures.com. Let's see. I will be ready to do this in September. Will the link still work then for the free trial? The free trial, if you click it, it's going to expire on the 18th of August. So it's going to be for the next, what is that, like 5 days? Just under 5 days. And that's how long this is. So what I would do to that, Ninian, is I would probably just have the link, put the countdown timer on alarm in your or something in your calendar for in 4 days, and then I would sign up, and then you would have 7 days. But it's not going to be valid to sign up now, or the link is not going to be valid on the 1st of September, unfortunately. That's part of the webinar. Like, this is the bonus that we give you guys. Let's see. There was someone that asked the question, how much does it cost otherwise? It's, again, $39 a month, and that's everything. You can just basically plug in your plug in your LinkedIn profile, your resources, and then you're good to go. But let's just quickly recap. So once you've gotten in, you will see the dashboard. And then it's when you can do the things that we talked about, like add your profile, add your resources, and then you can go to your post page and you can draft post, or you can then tomorrow come back and you can see that it's automatically drafted post, which is one of the things that I also wanted to go into. And one thing I just wanted to highlight as well, one thing we're building now, hopefully by the end of August, is in cross-user engagement. So one of the things in terms of posting on LinkedIn is the first 30 to 60 minutes are probably one of the more important windows. Because if you have a post and you get more engagement during that window, that tells the algorithm and LinkedIn that, okay, this is something that is a bit of a hot potato. We want to fuel this further. So that's a function that we're coming with where users across you guys can add your profile to an engagement system so that you can engage with each other. And we're building that so that it's going to be not flagging your accounts, not putting anything at risk, because we've done that and we've done this with 60, 70 profiles for BURO alone in the past year and two. So that's one thing. And also the thought leadership posts, we're working on that. The thing that I showed you was like just very, very first version of what we built this week. So that's coming. But with that, let's really get to the questions. So, Marjorie, what do you suggest if you want to fix your profile on LinkedIn? Marjorie, can you elaborate a bit on that and add it to the Q&A, please?
Yeah. I would also just say maybe just a couple points to Marjorie's question. I think she's saying like, what would you do to maximize your profile before posting or just making sure that it looks as professional as possible? So I
Yeah.
would, encourage you to have a professional photo. Also the header on your LinkedIn bio, just like what Harold is showing, is going to be
Yeah.
important for it to be clean, and speaking to your ICP is going to be really important.
Yeah.
Other things that I think Harold, I would point to the is it called that byline, right? Belief underneath your name. That's like I
Oh
forget what
yeah, the
that's
bio.
titled, but
Yeah, the headline title. Yeah,
mhm.
this is important, Marjorie, in terms of you want to have something that basically talks to your audience. So, for example, I have founder scale using AI-powered growth infrastructures, which what we have now is a system and a piece that you can plug into everything you have and it just runs it. The header is an important element, just for relevancy. If you don't have a header, just put up something that is like a plain one single color background. Don't have the default one from LinkedIn. Another one is featured. So the featured section is an important element because people will visit your profile. Like what I've seen is like I have 2,500 profile views. That's 2,500 people viewing and coming in, looking at my profile. So what can I push to them and show everyone that basically can drive potential sales, lead gen, signups, whatever it is. So for example, this is one thing that I'm going to do. Like one of these things here is going to be replaced by Autoposter. So here is going to be get started with Autoposter or having a intelligent self-evolving posting engine. Something. It's just like have something in there. It could be book a call, it could be sign up, it could be leads. If you have a lead magnet, put it in there. But featured is important. Never have more than 3 because they're going to get smaller and smaller. And then obviously you have your experience. And one thing here is you want to have something in here in terms of if people coming and the read, like why should they even care? Like one thing we have as BURO as a general, like for the venture studio that we have ultimately 4 effective branches of the company. We have Academy, where we teach everything. Like this webinar is something that we run internally in the part of Academy. Studio is where we create businesses with our partners, and that's typically the consultancy branch that we have. Lab is me being a bit of the mad scientist sitting here in the office just creating stuff. For example, Autoposter is a product of Lab. And invest are other things in terms of where we acquire other assets and invest in things. Like, okay, this is interesting. What else? What's in it for me? So we have a free community. You find it there. So you want to have elements on your profile that gives people different ways to dive into the rabbit hole and engage more with you. So I think that was a more than an elaborate way of answering your question. So let's get to a couple of the other ones. So we have a question, does this platform only cover LinkedIn? Currently, yes. So currently, as of now, it only covers LinkedIn. But over time, we have the vision to start supporting X or Twitter, because doing the lead magnet types of posts on Twitter is a big thing. It was a big thing before it turned into being a thing on LinkedIn at all. And then so on and expand. Again, we can't give any ETA or timeline on that, but that's a bit of the vision and goal that we have, because we want to ourselves expand to other platforms running the same playbook. Stephen, how many profiles per paid account? So the license, which is $39 a month, that you can see at the bottom, it's $39 a month per profile. So you have tools like this that just does the post drafting, not scheduling, not posting, not automation, not lead extraction. Because there is also one thing that I haven't shared yet in terms of what it actually does. That is more expensive elsewhere than what it is in Autoposter. But it's $39 a month per profile. So, and it's one profile, so one LinkedIn profile per license. I think we already answered Ninian on the free trial in September. So the free trial is valid for the next just shy of 5 days. Anonymous, do you have any other best practices or insights that do not rely on Autoposter? So yes, you can do this without Autoposter. I went one slide too far. And in Autoposter, so I'm just going to show this in Autoposter because it's one part of what you can do, but you don't need to do it in Autoposter, is when you get leads from LinkedIn. So when you get all of these leads, where do you send them? What do you do with them? So one thing that we have is that we have integrations. So and webhooks. So whenever we get a lead, we actually first we enrich it. So we have several ways of enriching every lead. So for example, get sales is a tool that we use through running outbound. So we send connection requests, we outbound messages to someone. We have get sales for that. So we send every lead to get sales. That's interesting. The other one is that we have find email, which is an email or enrichment tool to find their emails and phone numbers. And that we use to push to a pipeline. So every lead we get, we push it to a pipeline so that a appointment setter or someone in sales can work them and follow up and finding their details. For example, you can see two CRM systems here. You have Close, which is a system that a lot of companies use. A lot of sales team I know really like it. And then you have HubSpot, because you want to then use the lead generation strategy on LinkedIn to push that into something more. Just getting the comments and getting the leads, that in itself doesn't do anything. You need to actually take those leads, take them through the process, and turning them into business. So we have that, and that is run on the back end or on top of the posting on LinkedIn, because the autoposter is just a tool that does a certain thing, just makes it simple and really doable. But it's connecting to more things. For example, the same with webhooks. Like if we have a new lead, I can go in and say, okay, I want to integrate this. I want to connect this to something more. So I want to say, okay, whenever we, let's say, find an email, I want to send the data to a webhook. So if you use Anytime, Zapier, Make, Albato, Integrate, whatever integration tool you use, you can just get a webhook URL, punch it in, and it's going to send the data to that. And that integrates. And you can make it only something that runs on certain profiles. So if you have 10 profiles, you can do it for all of them. If you have unique integrations for all of them, you can build that as well. So integration is really an important thing. And one thing that we also built is that if you have an AI agent that you want to have access to this, you can connect to the MCP server that we have. So just basically punch this into your Claude, your ChatGPT, whatever it might be, and it's able to do everything inside of Autoposter, fetch data, all of these things for you. So there's a lot of ways that it's connecting to something else, because it's just one strategy of posting on LinkedIn. So hopefully that answers your question. If there's full questions to that in terms of other strategies and best practices, I would love to go more into it, but just ask the question. And also one
Uh,
thing,
uh,
yeah, just final thing before we go into the next, Lindsay, is every resource and lead magnet you have, by posting them on LinkedIn through using this strategy, independent of Autoposter or not, you will gather data. So of all of these, I can then over time see which one are the market most interested in. And then it might make sense for me to start running paid advertising to said page or said resource to then generate leads from that, push that into here, push it through into pipeline, and then have a sales team follow up. So there's a lot of things you can do. But yes, Lindsay.
yeah, no, Carl had a question. Since you're showing all of the connectors and the tools, he was asking, do we need those tools to run Autoposter? And the answer is no, you don't need those
No.
integrators or those additional tools. We're just showing you some of the tools that we have decided to connect to it. But Autoposter will run with one LinkedIn profile. You don't need LinkedIn Premium. You don't need any additional software to run it.
Yeah. So the thing that we have as default for everyone inside of Autoposter is we're gonna run basic LinkedIn enrichment on absolutely every lead you get, meaning it's gonna get all the data that is attributed to a profile on LinkedIn. So that's their experience, that's their title, company. It's gonna get email and phone number for a lot of people because it's publicly available on LinkedIn. A lot of people don't know that. So that's one. And for every phone number that it gets, that you get on your account, we're going to validate whether it's a valid phone number or not. If you want to add more enrichment on top of that, for example, running find email, you can connect that. And we have the plan, and this depends on what you guys use as well for enrichment, is if you have other CRM tools, if you have other enrichment tools that you want to connect to and integrate to and use on top of it, like just tell us and we're going to build that. Because one thing is that we have a Discord channel for everyone that is part of Autoposter. You can join it. And the thing is, and this is something that I shouldn't say, but I'm going to say it anyway. You have access to the Discord, even if you go beyond the 7-day trial and you don't continue. So even without a trial or an active subscription, you're going to have access to the Discord. And that is something that I'm only going to say here now in this webinar, because I want to help you guys the most as possible. Actually, post on LinkedIn and never stop with it, because as I said, it's only one post that needs to work for it to completely change how you see LinkedIn. Let's see.
Yeah, I think that also answers an additional question. Maybe it was Brian who had asked for additional lessons, but if you're doing the free trial, um, or maybe it was Brent, I'm not sure. But if you're doing the free trial, you can join that Discord group and you can ask questions as you go along, as you get in there and you're finding that you need help.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, you can. One other thing
let's
that I
see.
wanted to just add in is we haven't talked about this, but there is the automatic function in here that a bit more on how does auto drafting of posts work. So you basically have the autonomous resource drafting, which and the auto schedule approved posts. So those are two settings that automatically drafts posts based on resources and automatically schedule approved posts. And here you can set, okay, how many posts do you want to draft per profile every time it runs, what time during the day, and what day of the week. And this is also where you have the optimization loop, where you can set the scientifically iteration thesis parameters. I've set it to crazy iteration. So it's going to do 5 posts per template. And it's going to analyze the past 90 days. And that's what it's going to then use to get its findings and redo the thesis to have a version 2. If you want to have more, do 15. Or if you want to really go scientific, do 675, but 75 is going to take you ages. So that's why crazy iteration of 5 is something that I've kept because I want to do rapid pace. And also, if you have members in your team that you want to add, you can basically just send them an invite. And that's how it works. You can also set a goal of how many basically leads you want a month. You can add your AI writing rules. This is something that you unlock if you add your own API keys. So in integrations, if you add OpenRouter, OpenAI, or Anthropic, you can change and set the specific LLM model that you want to use to generate the posts for you. But yeah, you don't need any other integration. There was a question here in terms of Sales Navigator. So William, I think we also can touch more upon this in our call tomorrow. Sales Navigator, yes and no, you don't need it, but it's beneficial. Like what I've seen as well is there is this conversation going around in the space that having a paid subscription with LinkedIn is going to decrease the risk of your profile for any purpose. Like if you are just completely crazy fast doing things manually, it's going to decrease your risk. If you're using automations, it's going to decrease your risk. But the big benefit of using Sales Navigator is that your baseline activity number that you can do on LinkedIn goes up. You can send more connection requests. You can accept more connection requests. You can comment more. You can do all these things that normal free LinkedIn profiles can't necessarily do to the same level or same amount. So I would recommend keeping it, but ultimately you don't need it. Is it Brian? Brian had a question. I have my personal profile and it has a company page attached to it. For posting purposes, is Autoposter is considered two profiles if I want to post from both? That's a very good question, Brian. So how we've done it now is that you basically have a duo. So a company page is currently not taking the quota if you have your LinkedIn profile connected to it. So in theory, you can have your LinkedIn profile and a company page and post from both of them. If you have multiple company pages, obviously then it's going to go beyond it, but that's how it's set up. So you can ultimately post from both, Brian.
Thorsten asked, is there a rule on LinkedIn preventing sending DMs if you're not connected?
Yeah.
And yes, there is.
So
It's
Torsten, the thing there is that's why the entire blueprint is set up so that you basically let me show that. So let's take this one for example. While you have the entire category of not connected reply. So the DM is only sent when to those that you're connected with on LinkedIn. So you can send DMs to people who are not connected to LinkedIn, but it requires them to, one, have an open profile, and ultimately you should have Sales Navigator as well, because that's one of the functions of Sales Navigator. For Autoposter, it's not going to send any DM to people that you're not connected to. And that's also one of the reasons why one of the call to actions that we've typically used in a post is one, connect with me, and two, comment growth, and I will send it to you on DM. Something like this. That is a typical call to action at the very bottom, because then people send you the connection request. You can just have the system accept it, and then it's going to send the DM. And that's what you also saw in terms of the engagement setting of auto accept connection requests. So there's a lot of things here in terms that is built in to ensure that one, it's running the system in a non-spammy way because we want to respect LinkedIn. And that's the thing that I see too many people not do is that they don't respect LinkedIn. So that's that's a really important thing for me to actually highlight. One thing as well is that when you add a profile, you might have seen another option. Like it might be that you've been on a webinar like this before, and we have talked about similar things like this. You do have a tool called LeadShark that is doing all these things on LinkedIn in terms of automation. With Autoposter, you don't need that. You can just use the connect LinkedIn, and all of the automation happens on the back end. So it's just like one tool. It handles everything. You don't need to pay for AI. You don't need to pay for enrichment. The system does that for you. So a final time now, Lindsay dropped the link down in the chat. Since there's not too many more questions at this point, we're just going to stick around for a couple of more minutes. But basically, we wanted to give you guys like 7 days. Like you can just come in, get the account set up, go crazy for 7 days. And then if you want to keep on going, you can do that. And it's $39 a month, which is like, what is that if you can get like a couple of business opportunities from that every single month. It's going to pay itself back very, very quickly. So William has a question. Having used your prompts in the past, your content works well and it's very trustworthy. Okay, thank you, William. Again, the thing is, how can you give something of value to all the people? That's the key thing in terms of marketing. That's why this entire strategy works. How can you actually create something that helps someone get something? And I see, based on your responses here, like, just final question I have to you guys. How has this webinar been? Like, have you found any value in it? Like, what was the most interesting part? I would love to hear that in the chat. Like, what was the biggest takeaway? How did you guys find it? Was it valuable? Because I always want to try to actually provide value and help, give you guys something so that you leave this webinar and all future webinars knowing more than what you knew coming in. So Marjorie, very happy to hear that, Marjorie. William, highly informing, reconsidering go-to-market process to leverage this more, which we can talk more about tomorrow, David. Brian, this webinar is very valuable. The insight on respecting LinkedIn was great. And that's the most important thing. Like, you need to respect the platform. If you don't respect the platform and only see how you can leverage it, utilize it, or squeeze it, you're probably going to bound to do something that is going to hit you in the butt again. Brent, very valuable. Happy to hear that, Brent. Richard, very informative. Thanks, Lindsay and Harold. Our pleasure. And Rafal, turned out that using Autoposter would make the whole thing much easier. And that's what we did internally, because we needed to run this. Like, we were running this, not only for us, but for clients as well. And doing all of these things manually, that doesn't work. So with that, I think that's going to be where we wrap it up. So I hope to see you guys inside of Autoposter and also inside of the Discord community that we have for everyone that is signed up. So yeah, Marjorie, that's the entire purpose of it. It's, you have the setting, human in the loop. If you want to go crazy, turn that off, and you can see how it goes absolutely crazy and iterates on your business, what it knows, all your resources, and optimize it from there. But that's it, guys. I like to say thank you so much for showing up. From the looks of it, you guys found a lot of value in this, which I'm really happy about. And we're going to just drop the link one final time so that you guys basically can get the final opportunity now to get signed up. Brent already signed up. Amazing, Brent. Hope to see. Remember to join the Discord. So hope to see you guys inside of there. And I wish all of you an amazing rest of your Thursday, evening, day, morning, wherever you are in the world, because people are all over. So with that, wish you all an amazing rest of your day. And that's it now. The Zoom
Brian
lab
says,
is
what's the Discord? Once you've logged in with the 7-day free trial, you go to the bottom of the left-hand panel and it says join Discord. That's going to be a chat group. If you haven't used Discord, it's similar to Slack, or it's a place where you can chat. You'll join a group discussion and then you can ask questions. Let us know how everything's going. It's also acts as tech support for you throughout the experience.
Yeah. So it's the opportunity to pick our brain more when you're in. So it's our way to help you guys actually get the most out of it. But that's it. I wish all of you an amazing rest of your day, and we will see each other soon. Bye-bye.